Good morning. Today we're going to talk about the strata explosion, why your strata levies cost so much, what goes into it, what's changed in the last 5 years. Stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes, episode 1697. Myself, Michael BURGIO, Billy DRURY, talking about the massive increases we're seeing in strata levies throughout Sydney, in particular, northern beaches. Billy and myself, we're going to talk about what does strata include, why the increases have happened, what's involved with it. Billy, it comes up with nearly every sale. We sell a lot of strata properties.
Yeah.
Maybe first of all, cover off what is strata for anyone watching, maybe new to the industry, and then
Or even people that have lived in a house for 30 years. You know, they're wondering, why am I paying quarterly installments towards, something that I can't even, like you get a receipt for it, but I can't see what's happening. So where's all my money going, kind of thing. And
it's like there's no pool or spa. Like, why is it so high?
That's right. Look, strata, this is super relevant. 1 in 7 Australians now live in a strata scheme. So if you're not in a Torrens title house, you're probably in strata, and it means that your bills are divided over a particular number of heads, in the building. And in the last 5 years, we've seen a bit of an explosion, and it's really felt like it's crept up on us out of nowhere. And now all of a sudden, strata is probably, aside from the price, the second number that buyers are closely looking at before entering into a negotiation.
Yes, and so to give a background, so what is strata is obviously when you have a Torrens title property, there you are the sole owner of that land. But strata, if you think of it, a larger building, maybe 10 units in it, divided up by 10. Now there is parts of the strata that you own exclusively, like your unit. You can paint it, you do what you like, and then you've got common property. But
Correct.
A lot of people just think strata, it's just for the cleaning of the foyer. I don't have a pool. We don't have a gym. Why is it like, what else does it cover? Now, just to give a bit of an explanation, so what do your strata levies pay for? Building insurance, public liability insurance, strata management fees, cleaning of the common areas, gardening and landscaping, common area electricity, water for the common area, fire safety inspections and compliance, security systems, lift services, if applicable, repairs and maintenance, pest control, winding and cleaning, contribution to the capital fund for future major works, which is a big one as well. A lot of people hear of, we've got a special levy of 50 grand coming up. And I'm not sure if anyone watched for the people who watched the morning minutes we did on waterproofing, where a lot of people, when they hear waterproofing a bill, they think it's because of a bad bill. But through our research chatting to builders, the waterproofing protection is only supposed to last 10 or 20 years. So if you're in a 40-year-old building and they're doing the waterproofing, again, it's not because it's a bad build. It doesn't mean you shouldn't buy in it. But if you know you've got to do that in 20 years and it's going to cost 100 grand, instead of waiting 20 years and hitting everyone with 100 grand bill each, the capital fund is more so, all right, let's do 100 grand divided by 20 years, divided by 4 quarters, and let's just have a little bit in the fund and a little bit extra for other things as well. So the capital works fund is a big thing as well. But I know from just a development we're working on, it was started marketing pre-COVID around 2019, 2020. We were guiding for a 2-bedroom apartment around $1,000 to $1,200 per quarter.
Yep.
And that's now been built. This year it was completed, and the levies we had confirmed is $1,700 to $1,900 per quarter per 2-bedroom,
Yeah,
which
it's a big
and the
jump.
1-bedroom's $1,100, which just feels massive.
Yeah. Now, I do want to, before we get into the pie chart and all the sort of the graphics of this, I do want to point out there's a bit of a misconception. Cheap strata is not always good because you've got proactive work and then reactive work. So you can have super cheap strata, do nothing to the building, let it sit for 10 years, and then you need to be really reactive to loads of expensive bills. Or you can be proactive and save a little bit aside each quarter, and your strata levies will be a bit higher, but at least you've got something for a rainy day and your building looks good. There is a fine balance somewhere in the middle as well, of course. That's a big one.
No, you're 100% right. And I think it's almost like another one. It is becoming such a large cost. Like $2,000 a quarter is $8,000 a year. You own that property for 10 years, that's 80 grand. That's massive amounts of money on top of everything else that buyers, homeowners have to deal with. But we've almost said in the industry, you want to buy a building that, so when we're selling a property and there's a 200 grand special levy or a 50 grand special levy, 9 out of 10 buyers are just running for the hill. But quite often we look at that price, we look at what it ends up selling for. That's a pretty good buy. The strata works, yeah, it looked bad, but they've kept up with the building. It's not a major repair. Once this is going to be done, this is going to be a beautiful strata, and the unit's going to be worth 200 grand more, and the special levy was only 50 grand. I think there's some really savvy investors out there who have almost become experts in reading between the lines and reading the lines of a strata scheme to be like, okay, is this a well-made? Yes, let's say there is a big levy. Is that a good big levy? I.e., we're just updating the waterproofing. It lasted 40 years. There's no external damage. It hasn't caused concrete cancer. There's nothing else. Once we pay this, we're going to have a pretty good 10, 20 years ahead of us. Or is it one of those that, as you said, it may have had cheap strata, never maintained. The little leak turned into a bad leak, turned into concrete cancer, turned into now all the balconies have to be replaced, which we've seen from not doing the waterproofing. So ripping up the tiles, repainting it, we've now seen whole balconies have to get taken off a unit block and rebuilt. So yes, you may have looked at it and gone, that's $500 a quarter, we're winning, instead of $800 or even $1,000 a quarter, but you're now paying $250,000 for the strata levy. So you hit the nail on the head right there. It's now become a part of, I think, the industry that agents need to be. We never really looked too closely into a strata report. Most of the time we would never even see a strata report. But I think now we really need to.
Yeah, you got to get your head around it. I want to give you a little visual here. This is really good. This is for a scheme, I think 8 to 12 lots. Don't take this as, you know, the exact same for every building, but if you have a pool in the building and you have a lift in the building, you know, you can see there's a portion set aside for those amenities. You might not use them, but you know, you're definitely going to be paying for them, and not everyone's going to pay the same amount either. In strata, you have what's called entitlement. So the bigger your lot, the more you will contribute. But you've got you know, general services there, things like the cleaning that you will take for granted and not even realize it's happening. Same with the gardening, same with your rubbish maintenance. The management aspect of it is probably one of the smallest portions. Insurance is really the one that's eaten into the others. That's the one that's getting expensive. So that gives you a bit of a visual.
Yeah, and I think I've been guilty of lately blaming strata managers for just, I don't know, increasing it, thinking they get a better, I don't know, return on it, just being like, why has it gone up so much? I couldn't understand it. And then doing a bit of research for this this podcast, I basically, it's going to be hard to see the numbers, but I might put this in an image. But this was real eye-opening because I just asked for like we gave you a list of what's included in your strata levy, so building insurance, and then I asked for an expected, like, how much it would cost. So to give you an idea, Building insurance, 37,000 annually. That was like a $37 million cover on a building. I think that was about 20 units. Strata management fees, 12,000 a year. Cleaning, 12,000 a year. Gardening, 4,000. Fire compliance, 8,000. Common electricity, 7,000 a year. Repairs and maintenance, 22,000 a year. And then capital work fund contribution, 45,000 a year. That's the one figure that could sort of vary. It might drop it down to 20 this year. The building's new, or the building's old. Let's increase it. We do have big works coming up. That's a figure that can vary. But I also asked good old ChatGPT so that came to 147,000. You could say running costs for that building. Now I asked what were those costs in 2006. Have a guess what they were, Billy.
I'm going to say, half.
54,000.
Yeah, so
the general
third, so 54 to 147.
yeah. So when our lovely government's like, we gave you $1,000 back, be grateful, but then they've made everything else expensive. This is just like a pure snapshot of every bill has gone up 140%, 200%, 160%. So your overall strata has gone up 172%. The largest increase is one of the largest, like capital works, building insurance, 150% in 20 years. So that's where that increase. So a lot of people buying, like we had that buyer for yesterday of a new building. Once they heard the figure, they're like, no, straight away. But it's like, once you understand, a lot of older buildings will be behind. They may not have renewed their policy. They haven't done a lot of the increases, but it's just crazy when you see it outlaid like that. 172%. And that equals $2,000 a quarter for a unit block with no pool, no gym, no anything.
Yep, that's what we're seeing. So I guess that's a snapshot. We just wanted to give you a bit of an update this morning, like what is in your levies, why are they expensive? And I think the people that get caught off guard the most are the ones that haven't been in strata before or for a long time, or people that just don't keep their finger on the pulse. And it's like anything, what's in the realms of normal. Well, you get adjusted to that the more doors you go through.
And just to quickly end on a positive, people may think, why would I buy strata? Especially if you already own a home and you're looking for your second investment. Land tax has gone up just as much. So instead of buying a house as an investment property, because you may be thinking, I'm not going to buy an investment unit, I'll just buy a house. I don't have to worry about this strata. I can insure you land tax, which you will pay if you already, anyone who owns a home on the Northern Beaches, you're over your threshold. So your second property, land tax will be applicable. And I did the numbers, like just buying a entry-level home for $2 million in DY, you're getting a $40,000 land tax bill, which is a lot more than the $8,000 a year in strata. So there's costs everywhere. You need to know them, look at them, do your numbers. But I think you nailed it on the head there. Just because the strata is $2,000 a quarter doesn't mean it's a unit you should not buy. Just because there's a special levy in the building doesn't mean you should run away from it. There's great value. There's plenty of items covered by the strata, which are valuable. Insurance is a big one. But yeah, I think that covers it.
There you go. Any questions, give us a call. We sell a lot of strata. Love to help.
Yes. Thank you.